Welcome back, and joining us on the show now is Prabhu Dhamodharan from India Textpreneurs Federation. Prabhu, hi, thank you so much for joining us. What's your sense, first of all, on the textile industry per se? Because the last time we spoke, I remember you telling us that the demand is picking up, the numbers aren't so great as compared to last year, but a quarter-on-quarter or a month-on-month figure now does seem relative.
Yes. Actually, I want to summarize in three aspects. Number one, demand and what are all the current challenges. And third is the way forward. The number one, so far we witnessed one of the worst periods in the recent times. Past 5 quarters was very stressful for all SMEs, even the mid-sized corporates also in textile sector, due to lack of demand in exports. The US, particularly, we all faced inventory, high level of inventory with retailer that created a problem. Now things are changing. The number one indicator, already US during the last calendar year, in the peak of during August and September, they imported around $10 billion worth of goods, so that converted as an inventory. Now it came down to $5 billion, $5.5 billion during January. Now things catched up, and during July, they imported around $7.7 billion of apparels during July. This means already they are on track. They are on track of the recovery. The historic number, we should not mind about last year number of $10 billion. That was unusual. Never it will happen again, because now we are all thinking about pre-COVID level of demand. So that 7.7 is a good number. Already they are in near to the historic average. This is number one indicator. We can see such kind of recovery in all developed markets. Second indicator, most of the brands, instead of giving negative commentary, we track around 25 retailers globally, and every retailer is projecting a stable business, at least 3 to 4% volume growth in the current year. So this is a second indicator. Third indicator, you take our competing countries. China, during their lows during January 23, achieved sales of apparel and garment accessories sales of around $11 billion. Last month, surprisingly, last 2 months, they bounced back like anything. And August and July, August alone, they touched around $16 billion of apparel and garments accessories exports. This indicates that somewhere recovery is solid. Even Bangladesh number, you see, they're stable at $4 billion run rate. And Vietnam already from the low of 2.25 reached around 3.25 last month. So everywhere we are witnessing recovery. The real challenge is
how would you look at the Indian numbers?
Pardon?
How would you look at the Indian numbers vis-a-vis all these numbers that you put out?
India, we used to do around 1.4 to 1.6 billion dollar of apparel exports every month. Due to the recent challenges, it came down to 1.2 billion dollar. So we will achieve our historic run rate of 1.4 or 1.5 billion dollar from the next quarter. This is what we expect, because we are getting such indications from the buyers and our manufacturers. The real challenge is the whole world built capacities. Every value chain, due to the post-COVID demand, everyone imagined that this will continue. So the whole capacity is there. For example, Bangladesh, with the run rate of 60% capacity utilization, they are hitting $4 billion. If they can still use another 20% capacity to add the volume. So naturally, we are facing intense competition that leads to a pricing war among the competing countries. So buyers are taking advantage. This will also change in the coming days, because once the basic things are okay, then people will try to improve their pricing. Now volumes are started coming, but pricing is the problem.
Okay, all right, Manisha, thanks very much for taking us through that conversation. Well, for the markets, it's definitely the same picture. We have the frontline indices consolidating, but the mid-cap index, which is now down over 1,100 odd points, close to 1,200 points, shaved off on that particular index. Maybe the BSE small cap index should come up for you as well, because that should probably be under equal pressure as the mid caps. That's all the time that we have on Halftime Report. This is Lunch. Up next with all of the top stories.